Hello and welcome to Connections Forum. It is a live online show hosted by Heidi and myself, Margherita Crystal Lotus. In the past 2 years, we've offered over 100 episodes with amazing guests who share their piece of truth and their experience with us and our audience. Our commitment for the next year is offering a space for people who want to be interviewed on their subject and use the video for their own marketing purposes. We offer coaching for overcoming camera shyness, for finding your authentic voice, and we train you in all aspects of live appearance. If you are interested in our services, please go to our website, bit.ly YT interviews. Okay, YT interviews.
And with the other one. YT is YouTube interviews, and we have the direct contact form is bit.ly/contact connections. Yeah, and today's episode, the title is How Can Your Thoughts Manifest? And we have with us Ken Elliott. And hello, Ken. We are happy that you are here with us.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, that will be very, 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 very interesting because you have written a groundbreaking book which is called 1, 2, 3, and you manifesting 1, 2, 3, and you don't need point 3. So, and we are very curious what you mean with that and how this manifesting thing works. But before we introduce you, I want to say some few words about me. I'm a trained Gestalt counselor, and I'm also a transformational life and relationships coach and an authentic voice coach. And last not least, a moderator and show producer together with Margherita and my husband, Mark, where we have the show from the Wisdom Factory. And now I give over to you, Margherita.
So I am a intuitive healer, author, and a mentor to women who have stress that they want to get over and solve. So I'm working with them and to regain their energy so that they can integrate in life again. I have also a new book that is right now Where Heart Touches Matter, Chakra Coloring Book. So with that, I leave over to you, Heidi, to present Ken Elliott.
Yeah, Ken is an award-winning best-selling author, and he is an artist, and we will show some of his beautiful pictures. And he has been showcased on media all over the world, and now in this live presentation with us. We are very grateful for that. Ken has learned how to manifest items, both big and small, first creating his desires on the other side and watching those thoughts take form in our physical world. Ken is living a life that many call magical and miraculous. And over the last 20+ years, Ken has been teaching others these simple techniques so they can create the life that they desire. So, simple techniques. I would like to dive into that, what you write in your book. Manifesting thoughts. How can thoughts be manifested? And you talk about simple techniques. First of all, how did you come from being a painter to what you are doing now with this book?
Well, I didn't start out to be either one. I was doing an interview, a job interview. A man had flown in to talk to me, and he was pitching a job that I really wasn't interested in that industry. And he was a very bright guy, and he asked a question that we should all ask ourselves. It never came up in my family. I never thought of it myself. He said, if you could do anything in the world you wanted to do, what would it be? And I said, well, I want to be an artist. And it stunned me. It just jumped out. And for 2 years, it was just right in front of my face all the time, and I finally acted on it and taught myself to draw. Came up with some great mentors, great teachers along the way. I think it was a bit of destiny, actually. We'll get into that later. And so I became the real thing, a real artist, and I show and have a full career being an artist. Then on the book part, what happened there? Oh, thank you. There's a couple of large-scale images.
Yeah, I show here a couple of your pictures. I really love these colors which you are presenting here. Let's scroll down this evening. Isn't it wonderful? And these trees, and this is so amazing. On your website, there are many more, and people can go there. Would you like to share your website where they find this type of work?
It's www.ken, K-E-N, Elliott, ELLIOTT.com, kenelliott.com. And you can see a lot of works in there. Yeah, I had a good day at the office with those pieces. So thank you very much for showing those. It's a joy for me to make them. They don't make themselves. It's a little bit of work, a little bit of labor, but if you stay with it, good things result. So on the book, on the manifesting, I came in contact with someone I feel is one of, if not the most gifted person on the planet. Now that's a pretty outrageous statement. And we don't have enough time in this show for me to detail all the things that Judy Goodman can do, judygoodman.com. Someone called me after I'd been in touch with Judy for a time and said, do you know who you're dealing with? And I said, well, she's a very gifted psychic woman from Georgia. And Judy hates that word, psychic. But Judy goes out of body every night. She can be in your dreams. She was taken by me by the fingertips when I was relaxing in bed one night, pulled me out of body, and off we went, on and on and on. And this person went through this large menu of highly gifted things that this woman could do. And one of the things she said is that if you send Judy something in thought, she'll get it. And what are you talking about? I've never heard anything like that. And she had told me that Judy had a birthday the year before, and she sent Judy a bouquet of flowers in thought. And Judy is highly sensitive. She can see thought in real time, or after the fact, as it was in this case. So when Judy went into her hotel room, Judy was out in the Atlantic, in the Bahamas. This woman didn't know where Judy was. She sent them to Judy wherever in the world she was, by thought. Judy opens the door, and there's this big bouquet of flowers that is in spirit. It's on the other side. It's where the ghosts are. It's where the deceased are, so-called dead people. So she reported back, well, the woman called, and Judy said, yeah, I got the flowers and described them, and so that was that. So that was very intriguing. And Judy had a birthday coming up, so I asked Judy if I could send her something in thought. And she said, well, sure, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I don't know. I mean, this is years before The Secret, and I didn't know anything about manifesting. This is all new to me, this thing, sending things in thought. So I said, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to concentrate on it really hard. And she said, you know, you're going to send me a gift. It's my birthday tomorrow. So you're going to think of the thing. We'll read that as the weaker force, but this is how you make the target. And since it's a gift, it's going to come from my heart. I'm going to get it every time. There's a lot of talk right now about gratitude. Well, that's what we're talking about. But that's not the core of this thing. But here is how you make the target, and you're going to amplify it by using one of the two great forces in the universe, love or fear. And so if I put love behind a thought, it's going to greatly amplify it, exponentially make it stronger. And Judy said, if you send it to me as a gift like that, I'll get it every time. So for 20 years, I did this. And I just played with it. And eventually, things came together, and then I realized, people kept telling me, you need to write a book about this. I kept waiting for somebody else to write the book. I'm an artist, okay? I'm literate, but this is supposed to fall to somebody else. Well, apparently, no one else had this straight-up experience. So it fell to me to write the book, and when you know it, the book wrote itself anyway, because I was talking about it virtually every day for 2 years. So I just sat down with these headsets and dictated the book in my speaking language, and I had the book in my hand in 7 weeks. I found a way to self-publish it without Amazon. Now I use Amazon too. A designer came across, an editor came across, a man who could send me through an expert in the publishing realm, and it all came together so fast you just couldn't believe it. It manifested itself.
So did you think about it before? to have it manifested in this period of time?
No, I didn't. I only put it out there that it would happen. You know, once I started the process, it would happen. But it was lightning quick, and I never get used to things coming in. You know, things can happen within minutes. Sometimes they'll take a couple of years or more. Even the things that are out there a couple of years, and I do have a list of things. They've all come in except for two things, but I see pieces of that happening almost on a daily or weekly basis, those last two things. So I can see that the pot is boiling. You know, it's simmering. Something's in play. It's not a dead zone. So I'm very encouraged by that.
I'm very curious about that because, you know, for many people, it might be normal that you can manifest your thoughts. You have seen The Secret and have read other books, and they try hard, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. For other people who are more scientifically oriented, that seems to be a little bit woo-woo. So you said in the pre-talk that you have the proof that you have manifested these things. And can you tell us a little bit how it was, how you have the security about this, your ability to do it? And then the next question would be, has everybody this ability, or is it something special about you and this Judy, your friend?
Okay. Well, I'm funny about that. When you ask me questions, you may get an unexpected answer. I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to go to this with your second question first. We have all been manifesting all our lives. And sometimes we come upon that coincidence where you think of a person, they call you, or you really are focusing on, you know, getting that good grade in college, and something comes along, and the right tutor, or you get the epiphany, and now you understand that calculus equation, like magic. We have lots and lots of these things, and you know, the world is full of coincidences. There's zillions of people interacting, so you're going to have things that just happen because they just happen. It's just the math. But there are too many instances where we're thinking of the XYZ thing with the 3 pink dots on it, and it happens. And it's a little bit shocking. Now, to go to the first part of the question, and the core of this book, and I might add it's the core of everything, just about everything, is this. Your thoughts, as people have been saying for decades, generations, your thoughts do make things. And I support all of those thousands of books about manifesting and self-help and how your thoughts can control your destiny by any title. Yes, these things, they're all true. It's been demonstrated to me. What all of these writers don't know, and what you're going to know now, is a key to the kingdom. Now, I'm raising the bar very, very, very high as I possibly can. And it's simply this. I have friends who can observe in real time, if I send them something in thought, what they see happen, because they have this level of giftedness. They can see my thoughts begin to form like a vapor in my field, or I can project it to their house. Judy was 2,000 miles away. She's still 1,000 miles away. She can see it form up in her home in real time. And if I just stay on that thought, now I'm not doing this day to day, but in real time at that moment, if I stay on that thought, and all I'm doing is thinking about it, I'm not even using gratitude. That's what I did for 20 years. I just thought about things very hard and projected it to her. I don't even want to use projected. I just sent it her way. Projected sounds like work. This is easy. You think of the thing, it starts to happen, and they can watch it form like a smoke. If I stay with it, it gets a little more 3D. It would get a little more of a blush of color. It would then get so fully physical looking on the other side, full color, that it will come into the physical world. And everything in your room was a puff of smoke first. Everything that man has ever invented since we appeared on this planet, mankind, men and women, let's get that man out of there, everything ever invented was a thought first. This is a piece of paper. This is how simple it is, by the way. You get a book, and I'll send you this little cheat sheet with it, but it's on the website. This was a tree first. Now, how many tens of thousands of people hours did it take? How many puffs of smoke to get a truck, rent a driver, get this insured, get it bonded, get it packaged, tens of thousands of hours to make anything. So if it didn't grow naturally, if it wasn't God's will or implied by the random acts of nature, if we invented it, it was a puff of smoke first. It underpins everything ever invented in your life and everything you bring into your room. Even these plants you have growing, they came from a nursery, and that was someone's invention. When you look at the skylines in Italy or in Canada, they're all a puff of smoke first. So this is so very simple and so foundationally basic, to pile two words on top of each other, it's difficult to get it across. I thought when I put the book out there, oh yeah, everybody's going to get this. No, it takes a little effort on my part. So I've come up with these different things. So imagine that you have an app on your phone, and I love apps. I've got way over 100 of these things. You have an app on your phone, and anything you desire, you just do this, and it brings it to you. Here's another one. Imagine you're a genie, and anything you think instantly begins to form right in front of you. This is what I've experienced. This is what the people that are close to me that are highly gifted have experienced. And William Buhlman, Buhlman, is one of the foremost out-of-body teachers and experiencers. And he made this offhand comment one time in a private conversation. He said, sometimes I have my wish list, and people have wish lists and vision boards. It's very popular, and I support those. He said, sometimes I'm on the other side. He is an out-of-body traveler. He leaves his body, goes to the other side. Sometimes I see everything on my list arrayed in various stages of formation. And I said, well, what do you mean? We're coming up on a break. I saw you, look like you had a question. Okay,
No, it's okay. Continue.
It sounded fantastic. He said he would see everything on his wish list just arrayed, lined up in various stages of formation. I mean, what are you talking about? I've never heard anything like this. He said, if I've been working on something a short period of time, it's just a wisp of smoke. If I've had it on my wish list for a few weeks, say, and I'm, going to that wish list every day, I look at it, I touch it, I see it, I read it, I speak it, then it has more and more layers of intention on it. It has a couple weeks more intention. It begins to take a form. He can see what it is. Now, if it's a concept like happiness or a perfect career, he'll see that wisp of smoke congeal into a cloud that's more perfectly formed. If it's an object like that Vespa, that little red Vespa, they have those all over Italy, then he can see that little red Vespa forming up. Now, if he stays on that, it will become more and more 3D and more solid, full color, and he knows it's about to come over into the physical world. And that's what our thoughts do. Now, here's the very interesting thing about that. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. It just does it anyway. Thoughts are like a natural law. And gravity, I'm really good at this. You want to see how good I am at gravity? We're all equally good at gravity. Let me repeat that point. We're all equally good because this is a fundamental law of nature. And I'll give you a statement. Thoughts are not only real, they're a fundamental law. And all they do is make things. So if you have a so-called good thought or so-called bad thought, it will just merely make it. And if you want to do this really efficiently, if you want to get really, really, really good at making thought, all you have to do is think of a thing and then say, I'm so grateful. And it will make it more efficiently, more powerfully. And if you have a worry, your thoughts don't care what a thought is. They don't judge it. Gravity doesn't care what you're going to do with gravity. And if you believe in gravity or not, gravity just does gravity anyway. Makes no difference because it's a natural law. So if you have a worry, oh my gosh, I'm going to have trouble paying my bills. I can't pay my bills. That thought will begin to build, and you're loading it up with the other great force in the universe, fear. And your thoughts will merely just go, go, go. Now, that was a very long answer to a question, but you have just been given information that is maybe one of the most important things you've ever heard. This is not my book. This is not my information. I'm the messenger boy. I was given this. I did this for 20 years before it finally dawned on me, well, about 15 years, before it finally dawned on me, oh my God, you can do this for yourself. I used to just send things to Judy over and over and over. And then I finally saw the secret. Somebody said, you need to see this thing. And when I turned it off, I went, oh my God, I've been doing this. I know what they're doing. I have 100% success rate in sending these little rinky-dink, uncomplicated, simple objects to Judy. So I know what they're doing, but they don't know how this works. And that makes all the difference. We don't petition light switches and water faucets. Oh my God, I hope this will work. What do I need to do to make sure these things work 100% of the time? I need to say, I need to have rituals. I need to watch my language. I need to behave. Oh my God, I need to read some books. I need to go to some workshops to get the light switch to come on. It's hooked up to the power plant. It's going to come on every time. And that's what you just learned. So what you're thinking is building, if you believe it or not. And if you repeat this, repeat it, in any form, it will grow and grow and grow and get so solid physical over there it'll come into your life. And that's what's been happening, these so-called good things and so-called bad things. And if you want to make change in your life, just stick with us. In a very short time, we're going to give you the tools to do that.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question. Can I ask it? So, can you give us an example recently from a thing that you have intended and it happened?
Boy, I have a lot of those. I have one that happens every day. I'm pretty busy. I have a couple of careers, actually more. And I do, people call and I help people out on manifesting this thing and that thing. So it's difficult for me to have some personal time. Pretty difficult. So anything in my life that's given me a problem, if it's the dog barking, it's the bad boss, it's the lack of, or too much of, whatever it is, if I need something changed, I simply do this. Now here's another really interesting thing about thought. Your thoughts can make the future. Let me just let that bang around in people's heads. I'll say it again. Your thoughts can create the future. They just do. So if there's something I don't want in my present life, I go, I was a little slow on the uptake with this. I'll go, wait a minute, I can go into my future and that thing doesn't exist. No, that's pretty good. It's like a big eraser. It's like that back arrow on the computer. I mean, that's like upside down impossible, but your thoughts will do it. So here's something that I came up with, and I go to my future with my thoughts. I call this a movie. This is not a meditation. This is not an act, a measurement of your faith, your belief. It's like a 3-year-old, a 12-year-old goes to the movie. You watch a movie or you make a movie. Anybody can watch a movie. Nobody flunks going to the movie, so I call this the movie. Anybody can do this. And in your movie, you have these scenes. And every scene is in your future. And you go into a future where things have already happened. Can it get any simpler than that? This is like the greatest gift you've ever heard of. This is like your uncle. You call him up and he says, well, I'm working on that. And sometimes you get a special delivery, or he'll call you back and say, well, I'm working on this really hard, but you're going to have to do a couple of things and we'll make this go for you, all right? I mean, that's pretty easy. So in my future, I'm in my future. That's what I say. I'm in my future. And in my future, I have perfectly synchronized time. I'm never late to appointments. That's what that's about. If I need time, I get time, magically. So I'm in my future. I have perfectly synchronized time between what I'm here to do. I'm doing it now. Thank you both very, very much. Between my relationships, friends, family, those I love, between my careers and my personal time. Now, that's a lot of balls in the air, but I have perfectly synchronized time. And when people were with me, I let them know in advance, you're going to see a lot of coincidences. And every day, this is my proof of concept, I see this happen. Now, I've done some big things. I'm in my perfect house. Now, this has to get paid for every month. It's not a small thing. But somehow it happens. I need letters for stories for my newsletter that comes out every Friday. Manifesting123.com, there it is. Sign up for that newsletter every Friday. There's stories. Well, I got 4 stories in 3 days. I didn't have a story yesterday morning, and I have 4 stories in 3 days now. I mean, in 1 day. So I needed those stories going out, and I manifested I never run out of stories. Well, okay. Is that grand? There's over 100 stories that you can read from people on the archive. You can keywords first them, and you'll be very busy with those stories. Now, what is something you would desire?
I would first ask the concept. You practically envision the future, the ideal future of what you desire, and then get the attraction from the future. So the future is attracting you and what you are doing and where you are going to. Is it right?
It's a little complicated, what you're saying. It's not complicated. There's a very popular, The Secret was very, very popular, and the banner was the law of attraction, which makes perfect sense, if you can believe in that. That's not exactly true. What I'm talking about here underpins the law of attraction. It's more basic than the law of attraction. The law of attraction is a side effect. So if you have a thought, a singular thought, this is a very important program. If you have a singular thought, then the law of attraction can come to that thought. Okay? If you don't have a thought, there's no law of attraction going on. But there's things going around, whirring around in your subconscious mind. You're not focusing on those things. You see advertising. You're not manufacturing toothpaste and all manner of pickup trucks and automobiles and flights to everywhere. I mean, this stuff just comes in and comes out. Now, people are manifesting concepts like happiness and less pain and health, and they wake up with it. I would offer there's not a law of attraction involved with that, because it wasn't like something came in the mailbox or that a friend came over and gave you some information. They're waking up with some of these concepts. Now, if it comes down to new automobiles and roof on the house and that sort of thing, yeah, I can say there's a law of attraction to that. A lot of things come to that thought, but some of that is internal. And the law of attraction, it's not there. It's something that happens internal. And that's a great mystery, and that's one that looks very, very miraculous to me and the people it happens to. Imagine you're going into your future, and in your future have these different things, and whatever it is you're desiring has already happened. Now, that's a very happy place. That's your very own private Disneyland. And because you're spending time in that future, once a day is all you need to do. Don't sit and do this all day long. And by the way, once you have these scenes in your movie, they are targets. You need to say yes more. You need to get out of the house more, because it can't all come through the front door. It can't all come through the little, slats, the window blinds. So there's an old term. I haven't used the word window blind since I was growing up in Texas. Anyway, I'm regressing here. So they're in this happy place, and your thoughts are creating this scenario. Now, they may not specify happiness. They may not specify less stress, but people are waking up with it. And they call me, or I get these emails, and they'll say, oh my God, what the heck is going on? Your thoughts are creating this really idyllic future. And these other things you're not asking for, well, there's part of the package. Your thought makes it very efficiently. Now, how good is that?
That's amazing.
It is amazing, but it is our birthright. It's too good to be true.
Question.
I'm sorry. It's too good to be true.
Yeah, it is. So, because, we know that we have, I don't know how many thousand thoughts a day. So, which of the thoughts do manifest? Do we have to concentrate on something? Or do all the thoughts manifest, or only specific thoughts? How do we need to apply ourselves to get these results you are talking of?
Yeah.
It's not just
Yeah.
thousand thoughts kind of manifest
It's
all the
very,
time.
very, very simple. How's that? It's very simple. It's the ones you repeat that grow. And it's the ones that you put either love or fear with. Gratitude or worry. Gratitude is love, worry is fear. So if you repeat it and you empower it with love or fear, it's going to build it as efficiently as it possibly can. It will come to you on the diagonal, on the shortcut. And this is life's shortcut. Yes, yes, yes. It will take the shortcut.
That makes sense, and it makes also sense for the negative thoughts. No, when we indulge in thinking in fear, and this will happen, normally it does. So.
Well, and I'll run through it very quickly. The number one of manifesting 1, 2, 3, and you don't need number 3, is that you go into your future, and in your movie, you have a scene in your future. What is something that you desire, Heidi? If I may ask. Something large, something small. What would it be?
I desire to really be able to give my mission out into the world and have people who appreciate that and are happy to hear it.
Okay. Before I knew any of this, I woke up with this idea in my head. Sometimes ideas get planted in your head. This was not my idea. I don't know where it came from. And I stood out under the stars, and I said this. This was 25 years ago or more. I don't know why I was doing this, but it wouldn't let me go for days. And I stood under the stars, and I said something very much like what you said. Bring me the truth. Bring me the truth, and I'll wrap it around the world millions and millions of times. I didn't even know what I was asking for. And within 6 weeks, that very gifted woman, Judy Goodman, said, you're going to start putting people on the radio. I said, I don't know anything about radio. She said, we'll get ready. And then I met William Buellman, put him on the radio. Judy Goodman, all a number of people. I know some really, really, as you both do, some very interesting authors and not yet published people with tremendous information, gifts. Got them on the radio. Now I'm on the radio. Go figure. Now I've got this piece of truth, and here we go. And thank you both very much for doing this. So for you, Heidi, imagine you're in your future. Now you don't have to see things. If you're in your future and you want to go to Vermont, then you will see Vermont in your movie. And you'll be having some of that maple syrup on your pancakes in the cafe with the view of the autumn trees in Vermont, and you can hear the Vermont birds and breathe the Vermont air, and you're going to have all this detail. But in your case, you don't have to imagine a studio, because whatever you imagine is going to limit the possibilities. So we don't know what technology can do in the future, so let's not visualize you have to have a headphone and a computer and all of this, and that you're one person or two person or 50,000 person operation. So in your future, imagine you're in your comfortable chair. Your eyes can be open or closed. You can do this when you're driving. You just declare you're in your future. And I'm in my future. You don't have to visualize it. I'm in my future. And I'm just so happy that I am able to take these truths, these wonderful things that I have learned, that people write about, and magnify them, and wrap the world in many, many forms, millions and millions of times. And it fills my cup. I couldn't be happier, and I'm so very successful with this. And it doesn't take over my life. It happens with very little extra effort on my part. And I'm so very grateful this all worked out so beautifully. It's just so fantastic. I just love it. I just love it, love it, love it. And you're putting a little emotion into that thing.
We have a comment here from Vivekananda.
Okay.
And do you have the comment tracker, Heidi? Yes. Our brain is wired to notice negative thoughts. is it mainly for our survival? But how do we get past the hardwired brain programming of survival mode?
That's the number 2. So in the future, number 1, you go to your future. Let me stress this. In your future, the thing has already happened. If you want a lot of detail, visualize detail. But if it's something like a perfect partner, a perfect career, don't use detail. It's already happened. Detail's not necessary. You make an observation at the end of the day. And remember, you're so very grateful. The number 2 is fear. Fear. We're hardwired for fear. Hot plate. Oh my gosh. Don't touch that. Don't step off the edge of the cliff. You just get electrified when you lean over a height like that. I'm electrified when I see pictures of people doing that. So what can you do about fear? It's the middle of the night, and you have a concern, a deep concern. You have this pain that's really been bothering your neck. I always point to a different part of my body because I'm not going to make this stuff over and over. And you have this pain in your neck that's been going on for some time. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Are you going to call the emergency room? Well, maybe it's not that bad, but it's been going on and on and on and on. And what are we thinking about? Is that cancer? Is that cancer? Is that cancer? Oh my God! What if that's cancer? What am I going to do if that's cancer? And then here comes the money thing and the job, and you might get fired if you go to the hospital. And it's just this cascade of these horrible things that can happen. They might as well just shoot you off to Mars and never call you again. It's a terrible thing. 3 a.m. Now, what I know is because I've sent so many objects in thought, and we can do one of those stories. We have the time. I know that I can create cancer, and I'm loading it up with fear, so it will make whatever I think as efficiently as possible. So here's what I was given, because I was at wit's end with a huge problem in my life. I got my perfect house. Now, how am I going to pay for that? The bill's coming due, and I'm just, oh my God, what was I thinking when I bought this house? So here's this pain thing. I can't afford to create sickness. I can't afford to create a lack of anything. I don't want that to happen. Unless it's lack of something I don't want. But these things I desire, I want them to be with me. So I'm going to take action on that worry. That's what I was given. It's what something said. I didn't hear the words, but it was in there. Take action on your worries. And what the heck is that? And then a follow-up came. And it was, all right, it's 3 a.m. I'm going to get my phone or a piece of paper. I'll turn on the light or not. And I'm going to write down 9 a.m. It's a reminder, call the doctor. Number 1. Number 2, if I just have to stay up all night with this, all right, I'm going to get on the internet and I'm going to see what these symptoms might mean. I'm not going to believe everything I see, but maybe I can get some comfort off of that. Also in the morning, hey, I have a friend that had this thing with the neck, or a friend who's a nurse. I'm still going to make this doctor's appointment if I'm hurting in the morning, but I'm going to refer back to the nurse and get some sort of interpretation on what the doctor said. I'm going to get some help on this thing. And am I still going to worry about it? You bet. But you know what? When I get up the next day, I'm going to hit this list. I've done everything I can do about this. And besides, I'm still the only person on the block that goes to the future. And in my future, I observe at the end of the day that I have perfect health. I don't have to see an absence of hospitals every day. That's my most important thing. I'm in my future and I have perfect health. And as I say it, I'm reinforcing that little wisp of smoke over there. It's pretty well built. And that's all you can do. Atta boy, atta girl, pat yourself on the back. Are you still going to worry about it? Okay, but you can have a laugh. You can come up with another action item. If it's money, you can call the boss. You can search around for another job. You can call the boss, ask for a raise. You can call a mentor in your field. A lot of things you can do to work against this lack of income, or to get some questions answered on that thing with my neck. Oh my God, what is that? So that's the number 2. That's how you work against fear. Because it is a thought, you're going to empower it, and it's going to build it. So let's not have it.
What I'm hearing, that you are going to reality and don't allow the thoughts to become irreal and ever more building them up into a sort of catastrophe. But
Yeah.
you check reality, what can be done here, and then you know that there are ways to deal with what the problem is, and then you sort of calm down your inner demons, let's say. Is it that?
Well, yeah, it's hard. Well, yeah, and that's what all those books say. Well, just forget about it, or have a beer. It's hard to do, but we all know this thing, hangman. You have a thought, and you think about it again, right? And you keep thinking about it, and you keep thinking about it, and you keep thinking about it, and you're making that thing happen. We don't want this hanging man to happen. So you're going to think about it, but let's not empower it with a lot of fear. Let's get some information. Let's get some help. Let's get a handle on this thing. You're still going to think about it. You can't be impractical. Bills have to be paid. We have to maintain some sense of health. We can't just smoke and drink all day long and expect that it's going to be good for us. So yes, we have to take some action in the physical world. We are responsible, but we have been given a remarkable tool that has, in fact, been at the core of everything that's ever been invented. Is that good enough? It's good enough for me. Everything that's ever been invented was a thought first, a puff of smoke. Let's jump in on this. We're already doing it. Let's get control of this in our lives. We can change our lives beginning today. And whatever your life has in it now, we have some destiny. I can't give you that percentage. We're going to meet certain people, have certain issues, but we have a lot of control over what we can do. So there are things you want to continue, things you do not want anymore, and I'll use this word want and get into this very quickly. Not a lot of rules with this, but when you say want, thoughts are very literal. You say red car, it's going to be a red car. You say it's a red car with this model, make, and number, whatever, it's going to do that. When you say want, it's like you engage the machine, and the machine says, oh, okay, you can be wanting. I can make a lot of wanting. How much wanting do you want? You say, I need this. How much needy do you need? How much needy would you like in your life? How much need? Don't be wanting or needy. You are creating, you're building, you're making.
So you said, for me, a very important point, the control over your own thoughts in some way, and also before the intention where you want to go. This seems to me to be the core. Is it so?
I missed that. There was a little breakup. Say that again, please.
That the intention is a very important thing where we want to go.
Yes.
And the other thing is to have a control over what our thinking process is doing.
Yes, you do have control. Now, there are things that are going to happen in your life by pure accident, could be destiny, but you still can thread through and control and get to the end that you desire. Now, I can't be an astronaut, not likely. Well, I could if I come up with the right amount of millions, or a new best friend who can get me on a shuttle mission. But I may put it in my future that I'm an astronaut, and then suddenly there is a 75-hour DV set about astronauts. It can be immersed in all things astronaut. There's equivalent of money. There is the equivalent of being an astronaut. And I would recommend, please point yourself to happiness. And you can eliminate these things you do not desire in your future.
That's very awesome. I mean, we are coming to the end of this interview here, and I want to hear from you what you want the readers to do, the watchers to do after they have seen this video.
Well, I don't want them to be wanting. But once they see this video, they can go up and listen to a lot more radio interviews if they like. They can download the book. They can get it instantly. They can get an audio file. They can get an ebook. They can order it, from all sorts of places, Amazon certainly. But with what you have, you can simply sit down and think about the things you desire. Also think about the things you no longer wish to have in your life, and start to create scenes in your future for those things you desire. And you can also create some things in your future where your family's getting along very well. How could that happen? My family's a mess. Well, you just have these things, and it's happening. And watch the dynamics on that one. It's very interesting. Now, some people will fall away. Some people come into your life. You never know what's going to happen. But you will start to see results. And when you do, please email me, and I'll use that story in the newsletter, and I'll send you a free book.
That's amazing. And I think we had another comment there, Heidi. Can you show it?
Just a minute. You took me here. Yeah, here. Vivek, do you think meditation has any role in life? Or are you thinking it is a meaningless religious ritual?
Well, it's not meaningless because it's creating something. And it's certainly not religious. Although the first time I did this, there was a religious person that showed up and embellished my very first thought that I sent to Judy. That gives a lot of people some comfort. And we have this term in Houston, it's sort of like getting the good housekeeping seal of approval for those that want to feel comfortable in a religious way about this. But it's not a religious thing. We've been making things before religion was invented, at least in our own minds. But I would offer that this comes from somewhere. And at the very ultimate idea, how am I trying to say, as I've looked at this concept and been shown this in a couple of ways, on the other side, I was in a void, and I realized that anything I thought would instantly manifest, instantly, and I could detect particles around me in this black void, and whatever I would think would react on these particles. And it occurred to me after I experience this, and I'm thinking about a new up and down. I'm thinking about a new biology. There's nothing there unless I create it. If I walked in on you, Heidi, and you're in that void, and you're thinking about something in that space, I would get as far away from you as I possibly can because I would know you were God. What else is there's nothing else, and you look very capable, and I would just get away from you because you might say, "Let there be light," and it's all over for me. Well, I'm in this space, and I'm thinking about these very big things, creating a new anything from scratch. And I detected those particles in this state. Those particles didn't belong to me. Those particles belonged to somebody else. My thoughts were interacting with something that was gifted to me. It was somebody else's chemistry set. And that's the best way I can answer that question from a religious point of view. I thought that it was something that God gave us. And for those who don't believe in God, it's just the way nature is. But when you think it, it starts to form up, and my friends can see it. And I've done this way too many times. And for those people that want to get in the book and get it quick, just go to that chapter that says The Rose and the Duck, and you'll see a couple of remarkable stories there. Or maybe I get back on the air and tell those stories to your audience.
Okay, so I have enjoyed your interview tremendously and opened my eyes kind of a lot for this because I'm also in this area. But you really provided a good starting point to manifest. I'm impressed. So do you have something final to say before we end the broadcast?
Well, do it now. Don't wait. You've already been doing it. And I won't even use the word focus. Just make some small effort to do this, and you'll get a result. What you heard, to paraphrase what you said, is the begin-all, end-all. It's how this works. It's how this works. And we have a lot of free space in our lives to create comfort or not comfort, pain or no pain, success or lack of success. And this isn't about money. There's the equivalent of money. Some people live very, very well on what you would say is a very small income, and they're just delightful people. They're very, very happy. So I don't want this to be the success show. Success comes from a lot of things. And what do people really desire? They want to be safe. They want to be loved. We want shelter, comfort, fulfillment. I mean, these are very simple, basic things. And you can create these concepts. And you don't have to specify what the structure is. You can be comfortable in a lot of different ways. And it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with the things that we think will create comfort. So turn yourself loose on these concepts. And yes, you want that little red sports car like the woman in Iceland did right away. Go for that too.
That's amazing. So Heidi, do you have a final word too?
Yeah, I have, because it's Vivek getting 45 minutes a day. And when you, Ken, talked about this void and this black space where you could see the particles, I think, and focus, you talked also about focus, isn't that maybe deep meditation? So I try to bind these things together, because I think there is truth in every, it is, we call it differently, but maybe it's more or less the same thing at the end. Because in deep meditation, this is the space of complete possibility, and that's what you are talking about too.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm glad you came back.
My impression, and I thank you for that.
I'm glad you came back to meditation and addressed her question. I purposely did not put meditation in the book because people they don't get 100, they don't get an A++ meditation. I wrote the book. I am terrible at this manifesting thing in terms of concentration, a meditation standpoint. My mind wanders. But see, I don't repeat these random things that come to my head all the time. It's the thing that I touch every day. That's the thing I'm building. So I purposely didn't make this a question of your meditation capabilities. So I'm a regular guy, not gifted. I'm an average Joe, below the bar on some things. Remember, I did this for 15 years or so and never thought to bring it to me. Only when I saw The Secret did I realize, oh my gosh, I can create things for myself. It was just a game for me. What kind of intellect would let that go? I had the keys to the kingdom, and it was just a game for me. Now, take it from me. It works. Take it from all the people that come in. It works. Go get them.
Awesome. So with that, I think we're going
Okay, this is fine. And I think we shouldn't talk. Wait a minute, meditation, because there is not one way of meditating. And maybe and send your thoughts to what you want to manifest is a way of meditating.
Yeah,
it's just what came to my mind.
Yes, I just wouldn't use the label because people trip on it. And I wouldn't call it religious because they'll trip on it. It's doing something, whatever the name of it is, whatever you want to call it. I just label it the movie because I'm trying to get something nebulous that's easy to do. Yes. I can't wait to see what happens next for all of us that are doing this.
Okay, great. Thank you very, 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 very much, Ken.
You're so very welcome. Thank you both.
Hope to see you again.
Let's do it.